This week on Hobie Outdoor Adventures, we visit one of the most ecologically intact rivers in Texas, the Devil's River. We'll show you how Hobie kayaks can get to primitive and isolated places where they're almost impossible for big boats to do. Welcome to Hobie Outdoor Adventures. Each week, we'll take the Hobies and peruse the country in search of adventure, fun, and fish. Whether we're drifting a stream, dissecting a lake, or covering an ocean, we'll show you the tips and tactics to make your next trip successful. Come with us, set your sail, and discover what life in a Hobie is all about. Stay tuned for Hobie Outdoor Adventures.
You know, we're pretty far off the beaten path here on purpose. We're on our way to the Devil's River, which is one of the most pristine rivers you're going to find around. There's very limited access to it. As you can tell, the road is really bumpy. We're going to take some Hobie kayaks and kayak down the Devils. We're going to be targeting smallmouth and largemouth, and no cell phones, no nothing. It should be a great trip, and it's one I've wanted to do for a long time. These roads are made for goats.
That's that vantage position, so it's easy to stand up, easy to see.
Okay.
You know, it's funny, after driving 20 miles literally down dirt roads in this kind of deserty, rough area, you know eventually you're going to come to a river because you've heard so much about it. And but when it actually opens up to you and you just see this beautiful, clear water, you just, once again, it's a contrast. It just doesn't seem like it should be here. And it's the lifeblood of this little area. So yeah, you just kind of take it all in and just know that it's great being this close to creation and seeing part of creation you haven't seen before.
I've been fortunate to float several rivers in the state of Texas, the Llano, Guadalupe, and some others, but the Devil's River is one that was always on my bucket list that I wasn't necessarily sure I was going to get a chance to go do. So when I had a chance to come out here and do this little short Devil's River float that we got to do today, I jumped on it, and I tell you, I've been excited and thinking about it ever since the invitation came down.
Wade and I started talking about this trip. There wasn't a lot of pre-fishing other than we both love fishing rivers and we both wanted to fish this river really bad. We fished Amistad before and it's pretty close. I'd say we're within 30 miles of Amistad, and this river actually feeds Amistad. Our expectations were to come see something we hadn't seen before, and knowing it was going to be clear water, knowing we might get to sight fish a little bit was really exciting for us.
Right when we got into the water where we were unloading at, there was a lot of standing vegetation before a rapids, and it was kind of slack water. So we're looking around, and I mean, you can see fish immediately swimming around.
You see them? They're right here in this pocket. There's 3 of them running around in there.
There's one right there. There's a little one right there. I'm gonna come up behind you.
Okay.
Hey, this is so awesome. I don't want to leave. Can we spend the night? Dang, that's a good one. 5-pounder right there. They just spooked out now.
No, it's on the right side.
Well, I mean, they were on the bed. The bed is right.
In that neck.
There's like those 2 right there. The bed's in between there.
There he goes, coming up on you, see him?
Yeah, I just want to let it sit there and let her settle down. See how she's making passes to her now. I had her fired up. That's the small one. The big one's over there. Fucking giant.
Grah! Wade came over there and jumped my hole and caught a monster right off the bat. So that was a hard to swallow. But every time I fish with Wade, I learn something. I don't give him a lot of credit publicly, but the guy's a great fisherman, and being able to get him in a kayak in one of our Hobies the first time was a blast. And that's been 3 or 4 years ago, and so now each year, you know, we get together and we try to make a trip and just get in the kayaks, get close to the water, and go catch fish.
Keaton, that's pretty about awesome right there.
That's
not
beautiful,
something you expect to
beautiful.
catch up here, is it? You know, this is about as relaxing as you can get. This is, you look at a backdrop like this, crystal clear, pristine water. I mean, that's unreal.
My main job here is to find them so you can catch them.
I like that. You know, you've been road tripping all over the place, seeing a lot of different sites with these Hobies. I mean, it's pretty exciting to see country like this, to, you know, out on the saltwater, every place.
Yeah, there's nowhere we can't go. You just have to find the right kayak that fits your needs. And you know, today we knew we were going to be fishing some clear water, a big open body, so we went with the pro anglers. And you know, that ability to stand up and catch that fish, you know, number one, to find it, you see it,
yeah,
and then go catch it is just, you know, it's really not worth the trade.
That's pretty incredible. Cool. Let's catch another one.
More fishing.
This episode of Hobie Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Power Pole Micro Anchor. Swift, silent, secure, and small. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate with the new HDS Gen 2 Touch. And by Columbia, trying stuff since 1938. Welcome back to Hobie Outdoor Adventures.
The Devil's River is well known as basically being the most pristine river in the state of Texas, and it's also one of the most remote. I mean, when you get in this country here, you're nowhere. I mean, there's just nothing around. You have to put in on some public land or have access via private land, and then you float several miles down before you're going to have an opportunity to even get off the river. This isn't a place that you go unprepared. It's a place that you got all the gear packed and got people with you in case something happens. When you get out here, you know you're in a very remote place that not a lot of people have seen.
Devil's River State Natural Area in Valverde County, north of Del Rio, was officially acquired in May of 1988. The site possesses good biological diversity, and the scenic river corridor offers a rugged river experience. The archaeological significance is substantial, and the SNA preserves sites similar to those lost when Lake Amistad was impounded. Archaeological evidence suggests that cultural influences from the west and east met at Devil's River. The 37,000-acre state natural area consists of 2 units. The original 20,000 acres state natural area, now called Del Norte, and the newly acquired 17,000-acre unit known as Big Satan. However, Big Satan is not yet open to the public.
You've got to plan and prepare properly for these types of situations. You know, there's very limited access to the Devil's River. You know, you can go to Texas Parks and Wildlife website, and they've got a lot of information on the rules and regulations for fishing this river system, and also provides a lot of insight on what you can expect, you know, on how to prepare yourself, you know, making sure you've got sunblock, plenty of water, plenty of food, and being prepared for, you know, anything that can happen. That float plan can be very important if you're going to go on a 3 or 4 day trip, so that when you leave your vehicle at one place, you've got a note on there, and if you're not out at a certain time, they can look and tell what's going on. So preparation on these types of trips can help make them successful and also eliminate things that can happen and go wrong. When it comes to fishing strategies on a trip like this, it's really kind of keep it simple. Lightweight tackle for the most part. 7-pound sunline is what I had, you know, primarily using on my spinning rod, and I was just basically throwing a lightweight Texas rig or a lightweight wacky worm out there. Small, natural hued baits that you can fish slow and just kind of twitch around. That doesn't mean you can't have great topwater action, because at the right time of the year you can throw topwaters, little crankbaits, even little spinner baits, and get some action. But normally when I fish something like this, it's all about the soft plastics.
I think I got it this time. Yeah, I got a light rod too.
He's a little better than you think he is.
Hang on.
Got over there. stumbled around and caught something that's mean. You
Yeah,
just
probably
snagged a carp.
catfish.
Huh?
Probably catfish.
You snagged something that's doesn't want to jump, whatever it is.
It's a nice molly.
Is it?
Yep.
Cool. Swing the other side.
Isn't that great when you can see these big old boogers? Oh, got you underwater? Oh, come on, bad boy.
I'm gonna see him.
It's probably 3, 4.
Really? Oh, good
3.
fish. Good one, Keith.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Nice job. Boy, that's a pretty fish.
Pretty fish. Boy, they're dark.
Wow. Good one right there. That's a
Woo.
good one. Nice job.
Oh, man. That, you know, this is my biggest smallmouth ever, Wade.
Is it
For
really?
Sure.
Wow.
For sure. Woo.
That is a good one.
Man alive.
That
Oh,
is
nice,
a good
nice,
one,
nice.
buddy. Okay. Hold him up here. I'll get us a picture.
You ready?
Yeah. I'm gonna keep taking. Hold him straight up now. I can't see him now. There you go. That is a pretty fish, dude.
Man alive.
Part of the Devil's River right there.
Just beautiful.
That is awesome. I mean, I saw that rod being, you're like, oh, I got a light rod. I don't think so.
Yeah. You know, on rivers, I like using lighter stuff, you know, and
It's fun.
that fish, yeah, I didn't really know until he decided, he didn't know he was hooked there for a while.
That was
And then when he went running.
Biggest smallmouth ever. That is too cool. That was a good one.
Hobie Outdoor Adventures will be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Hobie Outdoor Adventures.
When people talk about decompressing in life and getting away from it all, this is where you can forget everything. I'm a guy that's self-admitted addicted to my iPhone, my email and texting and my phone calls. Even when I'm fishing the biggest, best bass lakes in the nation, I peek at my phone. But here, you're not gonna peek at anything because you might miss some of the most incredible scenery that you're ever gonna see. I mean, when you look at the water and the fish that's swimming by, and you look at the vegetation growing on the sides, and you see all the rapids, and you look up on the hills and the cliffs, and I mean, it's just, the whole world just kind of melts and is forgotten when you're on a float like this. And that's a big part of an adventure like this. You know, say you come down there and only catch 5 fish, big deal. All you got to do is look around you at the water and what the water has done and created over the past centuries, and you're in awe. There's a fish. Oh, little bluegill. That's the cool thing about this. You catch everything. Little wacky worm.
There is not a prettier part of the world to do this in.
Not at all.
There's another one.
Want a bait?
They're all in here, Wade. There's a 3-pounder. I got to watch Wade do that earlier and came back to the same spot, and there's a few other fish hanging around. You can always learn something. That's why I like fishing with these guys that are active and do a lot of fishing in the outdoors. And I haven't done a lot of bed fishing before, and so I let somebody coach me through it that knew what they were doing, and it wasn't that hard. Man, those fish are so pretty. I'm gonna let her go so she can get back and do what she does. Look how clear that water is. They don't know what hit them sometimes. Man, if you're gonna come and fish the Devil's River, or any river for that matter, really plan your trip. Let someone know where you're gonna be, because you're in the middle of nowhere. Cell phone service is absolute not happening, which is kind of nice, which should be a rule with fishing anyway. But you know, really plan well, know your species, kind of do some a little bit of research. We're real clear water here, so definitely lighter line, you know, 6 or 8 pound fluorocarbon on a leader is really nice. The smaller baits, with that clearer water, you're gonna have a lot of smaller crawfish and stuff. So I think we caught almost all of our fish on either small crawfish patterns or you know, wacky rigs, small worms. But yeah, definitely in the river, the number one thing you wanna do is downsize, especially in these rocky rivers like this where there's not, you know, huge stretches of deep water. Yeah, bluegill.
I caught a couple.
I'm on to your fish now.
Yeah, I caught a couple of them a while ago. Good ones though.
I know.
You know, good enough that you know you caught a fish. They're kind of like on these little ledges, these little dark ledges is where I caught mine.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll turn into smallmouth as we get a little further upriver.
That's the thing about fishing this style. You just really don't know what you're gonna catch.
And you kind of don't care, you know?
No, never bites. I just like, I want to feel that tap. Pretty good fish. Woohoo! Smallmouth. Woo! Come here, buddy. All right, that little brown guy. Thank you, darling. In there. The Hobie kayak is something that I've absolutely fell in love with. I did my first float trip about a dozen years ago in the original Hobies, and we would float the rivers and catch fish and go out with our friends and our girlfriends and just have a really good time. And as they have progressed and evolved over the last few years, it's just amazing about what kayak capabilities are out there now. Standing up, fishing out of a kayak, propulsion systems that are so easy to use, you know, with your feet. The seats in them, the storage, the durability. I mean, it's amazing that the advancements have come along in kayaks, but it's also amazing to me the opportunities that are there for a kayak fisherman now, from competitive events that are out there on the saltwater and freshwater for a wide range of species to trips and tours that people do with them. I mean, without a question, a kayak is something right now that's about as hot as you're gonna find in fishing.
More on Hobie Outdoor Adventures when we come back. This episode of Hobie Outdoor Adventures has been brought to you by Daiwa, advancing the sport of fishing, Ram Mounts, made in the USA, your best connection, and by Hobie Polarized, trusted, quality, heritage.
Little spring right up there, Keaton.
That's what I was wondering. You see those bubbles coming out?
Yeah. Got to be something up there.
Usually it's a big loggerhead turtle when it's doing that.
They're still doing it though. Might have been a turtle. I don't see the bubbles anymore.
Oh, they're still there.
Are they? A little better one here. Brown guy. Boy, fun right there.
When you're going to fish any river system, you really have to take in consideration the areas you're going to be fishing, you know, how shallow it is, how rocky it is, how much moving water versus still water. And luckily at Hobie, I've got kayaks that are going to fit any of our needs. And I actually brought a Revolution, an Outback, and then I brought our Pro Anglers. And I really wanted to look at the area we were going to fish first. And when I saw that we had a nice big mile stretch of open water with limited shoals, you know, the Pro Angler is just the boat of choice for that. It takes a little more work to get it up and down, but when you get out there and get on the water fishing, it's just a great platform. My favorite thing about kayak fishing is just access. It's kind of unlimited. If I can get to the water, I can get my kayak in and go. Then I just like being on the water. You know, it's quiet and you're close to the fish. And I really like fishing out of the Pro Angler when I can, because in this situation, it was so clear and you can stand up, you can see all the boulders, you can see the fish. It just makes it easy to cast and, you know, easy to pick out fish when you see them. You know, the most exciting thing for me today was catching my biggest smallmouth ever. It was only about 4 pounds, but for me, that's a big one. We don't have a lot of smallies in Texas, and I don't get to fish up north that much. So getting down here and catching, you know, a personal best for me was great.
You know, the last week as we got closer to this trip, I mean, the excitement was building in me, and I was thinking of what we might see and what we might do. And I didn't care if I caught a fish. The fish were going to be the bonus, because this is the Devil's River. It is the destination in Texas that I've dreamed about going, and it met and exceeded all of the things I expected. And I'll be frank, I can't wait to come back. I don't know if I'm up for a 4-day trip down this thing, because that's a long trip for me, but I can promise you I will float the Devil's River again.
Next week, we start our brand new Hobie Outdoor Adventures Road Trip Edition. We meet up with our special guest, the NFL Pro Football Hall of Famer, Jackie Smith, and go kayak fishing in the beautiful lake near St. Louis, Missouri.
Wade's kind of a workaholic, and it's hard to get him to quit. You know, you've been out here all day, you've been catching fish, it's starting to get hot. It's time to go home, and old Wade's still at work.
Come off. Oh, he's coming back about it again. He's mad. Oh, he got it again.